a boy that you, well, you see a girl that you like, and you're kind of all tentative and stuff. But it's just so ridiculous. It's far too over the top, and you've just got to. I mean, it's kind of stupid saying that you have to suspend reality for a film with vampires in it, but it's too over the top. It's too detached from reality. Okay, right. So moving on, she comes home and she's on the phone with her mum, and she says something that's so stupid. Again, stupid thing. I don't know why she says it. Her mum's like, "Oh, how's everything going? How are all the people at school?" And she's like, "They're all very welcoming." In like a completely monotone tone, as is all of her vocals in this film, just completely monotone. And her mum's like, "Uh-oh, tell me everything." And it's like, what? They're all very welcoming. They are all very welcoming. What the hell is wrong with that? I mean, oh no, they're all really welcoming. Oh shit, you must get back here immediately. What if they suddenly become courteous? Oh dear God, considerate and friendly. No, it's too much. Got to get you out of there. We must bring you back to horror or something. You must obviously have had some sort of trauma in your life to make you so bloody depressed all the time. Okay, right. So, once the initial awkwardness is over between her and Edward, it gives way to basically more awkwardness. So Edward asks her a very valid question. We have all these sort of interplays between them. She's sort of wondering why he's so weird, and he's kind of trying to sort of fit in with society. So yeah, he asks her, "Why did you move?" To which the answer is nothing. There just is no reason. There is seemingly, why did she move? Oh, because, oh, yeah. Anyway, let's skip past that. No, give me an explanation. God damn it. Okay, right. So she begins to realise there's something weird about this Cullen boy, and after a series of strange things happen. He doesn't come out when it's very bright. The whole family doesn't. He seems to be amazingly fast and really strong. There's an incident where there's a sort of truck coming towards her, and he runs out all Superman and stops the truck from killing her, which is a shame. Yeah, and she decides to confront him about it and discuss some of the thoughts that she's had. She says, your mood swings are giving me whiplash," which, at least he's got moods, at least he's actually emoting on some level, unlike you sullen bitch. It's nothing. Nothing. Right, okay, but yeah, so she lays down the thing that she's considered, and I don't know why she says this. Again, I don't really know why she says most things, but yeah, she says that she's considered radioactive spiders and kryptonite. Right, okay. Okay, yeah. So the first port of call for you to just trying to discover anything amiss in the world is to consult comic book lore. Yeah, no, sure. I mean, nothing else in this movie seems to make much sense. Why not? Why not consult them? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, ignore all of the logical conclusions that could possibly be drawn from how he did that. Okay, right. Yeah. So then we have some more awkwardness, and Edward is intense, and Bella is nothing, and so we carry on. Right, so Bella decides to put down the comic books after something Jacob tells her on the beach about the Cullens. She looks up a book, decides to go to the bookshop to buy it. On her way back from the bookshop, some hillbillies try to usher some emotions out of her. Luckily, Edward is on hand to help maintain her complete blandness. He tells her he could hear the depraved things they were thinking, which is kind of ironic because you're a vampire. What they were thinking is more depraved than drinking all of their blood and leaving them a hollow corpse. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Sex is worse than that. I don't know. Okay, so they're driving along, and she goes to turn off the heater, and she accidentally touches his hand, and she's, "Oh, you're very cold to the touch." And it starts to bring about all these thoughts in her head, and she starts to research, finally, actual research, sort of, into the occult, because you move from comic books to the occult. Obviously, that's how every single university dissertation is written. That's how I wrote mine. Yeah, biggest cult section in our library, next to the comic book section. Obviously, got to get them on logical. Yeah. So she reads this book and it says stuff about a creature being very fast and very cold and it's all flashing up, so you know exactly what she's reading. And yeah, so the next day she heads off into the wood and Edward follows her for some reason. Bit creepy. She then starts to summarise all of the things that are bizarre about him. He's impossibly fast and strong, his skin is pale white and ice cold, blah 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 blah. And her incredibly logical conclusion, based on a single book on the occult that she's read, and presumably all the comic book stuff before, is that he's a vampire. What? What? That's your logical conclusion. That your logical conclusion is that he's a vampire. Hell, if I was going on her logic, I probably would have just imagined something more like a speedy, strong snowman. I mean, he seems to fit all the characteristics. And hell, I've actually seen a snowman. I am certain they are more physically real than vampires. I mean, not those weird vampires that are like those girls in America who just cut people's arms and like drink it. Actual vampires, blood-sucking, draining, needing it for life. I have seen a snowman. I have seen lots of snowmen. I'm going to say that they are more real than vampires. I'm laying it down. They are more real than vampires. She should have just made that conclusion. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, so he's a vampire. Yeah, okay, sure, right, he's a vampire. Despite the fact that he seems to lack a lot of the key aspects that make a vampire, I mean, she clearly hasn't seen quite a lot of vampire films. So she doesn't really know what a vampire is. I mean, we get to this. This is another thing that bugs the crap out of me. Okay? He goes to stand in sunlight and he's like, this is why we can't come out in sunlight. And I'm like, yes. He's going to like stick his hand into the sunlight and it's going to go all blistery and horrible and burning because he's a vampire and that's what happens. But no. Oh, he's diamonds. He's all covered in diamonds. He's so beautiful. She even says, she's like, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. What? No. Burst into flames, goddammit! Burst into flames! That's what vampires do! Vampires hate sunlight and love consuming the blood of humans. Now stop twinkling and bloody eat this girl who has voluntarily lured herself into the forest. Yeah. Snowmen twinkle in the sunlight. Snowmen twinkle in the sunlight. It's backing up my theory. My theory is looking much more solid than yours, Bella. You stupid, stupid woman. Okay, so Bella figures out he's a vampire and listens to him talk about what it's like to be a vampire. And he then just really casually just tells her, I've killed people. And she's... I've killed people. Okay, surely she'll be running for home right about now. Oh, no. She's still just standing there. She's just standing there in the middle of the forest with a killer. He has just told you that he's murdered several people. And she says, I don't care. How can you not care? How can you suddenly have such intense feelings of trust towards someone you barely know? How naive do you have to be? I suppose she's a kid or whatever, I mean, she got married. She gets married in the latest film. She's only, 17? Really glad that I followed through on all of the, impulse decisions I made when I was 17. That was a really good idea. Like, I maybe I could train to be an astronaut. Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Cool, yeah. Fuck's sake. Right. Okay. So, it seems basically as though Bella is trying to ignore all logic at every possible moment. She's just ignoring the fact that he's a killer, the fact that she thinks he's a vampire, and he presumably thinks he's a vampire as well. It seems like some twin delusion that they've locked themselves into. This film, it just takes itself way, way, way too seriously, The concept is pretty ridiculous, and I know most vampire stories are usually pretty far-fetched, but this one just seems to strain credulity to, a ridiculous level. I mean, I wouldn't mind it as much as if it poked more fun at itself. But, excuse me, sorry. But so much of it is made to be so intense that it doesn't leave much room for brevity. You know, he cracks the occasional joke and, you know, they all stand around awkwardly laughing, but I can't help feeling that it could have been done with a little bit more fun. I mean, the argument goes both ways, you know. It's supposed to be sort of teen, I think they call it teen noir now, so you want to have a serious aspect to it, but